Hello, all newcomers, and welcome back, fellow Eternians. As always, it is me, Emperor AP, and today I am going to be talking about alliances and micronational organizations. This is some stuff that I have been talking about and talking about and talking about on the channel. We have done an alliance series. We're about to be continuing our alliance series and getting into a whole bunch of other stuff. But the biggest issue that I have been having lately is um, the biggest issue that I have been having lately hold on, let me make sure everybody's able to jump in. I'm trying to get the Discord set up. Just got the not F. There we go. I think it's set up. Okay. I hope everybody can hear me. Let's see. Mic audio is good. Yep. I think everybody should be able to hear me. I think I'm in. Connor Smith said, "Hey, Aiden, how you doing, Connor Smith?" I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in right here on your comments so we can hang out together. How you doing, Connor Smith? Right now, I'm gonna play us some lo-fi so we can get to hanging out. But that's one of the biggest things that I have been dealing with in micronationalism since I've started in this community, and I know there are other people who feel the same way that I do. It's difficult because when you join micronationalism, you see all these people who have micronational organizations, all these different groups, all these different interests, all these different parties who say in one way or another that being a part of this group will help your micronation to grow. It'll help it to connect to other micronations, it'll help it whatever. All of that is good, but I feel like in a lot of the culture of micronationalism, we can tend to lose touch with the root of why we are building nations. Now, everyone has their own reason for building a micronation, but I would like to think that the majority of the core purpose for founding a micronation is to create a country and to create that nation, that place where people can live and grow and prosper. And if that is the case, those people need some sort of income. They need an economy to be able to grow under. And that's something that I've talked about time and time again on the channel. But when we deal with alliances and we deal with micronational organizations, as we start to interact with other micronations, we should be doing so from the point of offering them something in exchange for something of benefit to us. It should be trying to grow by enriching their society and asking them to enrich your own. It should not be about it's good to connect to other micronations culturally, but you shouldn't make that recognition, as a lot of people call it. You know, I'd like you to recognize my micronation. I recognize your micronation. That's good, but um, it doesn't give much benefit to both nations. It just merely is the start of conversation, and that's okay. But when you get into really approaching other micronations, I think it's important to try and do that, to try and figure out a way to start an economy, to start building something such that you come to the table with something. When you meet a new micronation, you say, "Hi, I'm the Empire of Eternia. We melt metals that we can sell you. We build electronics that we can sell you and design for you and things like that." All of those are potential, economic stimuluses. We have a YouTube channel that we, market on and things like that. When you develop a micronation, you need to have some way for it to make money so that you have something of value for other nations to rely on, to work with you on. That's how micronations grow, and especially as an empire, that's why we are so urgent and so excited to get started with all of this, is because for us, as an empire, we are destined to grow. That is our dream. That is our hope, is to expand our lands and our claims. It legitimately expand them. And so when we deal with alliances, we deal with things like that, we just want uh, to express that. Elysium Federation, hello, how are you doing? Invincible Admiral, it's good to see you as always. I'm so glad to have you in our stream today. Captain Rex, I have not seen you in a minute. It is so good to see you. We have grown a lot since the last time I've seen you on a stream, so I am so excited that you're here with us. Brings us full circle. Gastanova, how are you doing? It is so good to see you. I am glad to have you actually for this conversation, because this is something that you and I need to discuss quite a bit. Gastanova, if you guys don't know, is actually a citizen of the Empire of Eternia. So Gastanova has paid his taxes to the Empire, is actively working in the Empire as a citizen to help grow the Empire of Eternia. He's been doing a lot, and he has been making his mark in the Empire of Eternia. I just want to give my appreciation to you, Gastanova. Our talk today about alliances and about developing your micronation, talking about these micronational organizations that exist, and exactly what they mean and what they can offer to people is what we're trying to weigh out today. We're trying to really see what the value of these organizations and of these groups is, and whether or not they do enrich your nation, and what may be alternatives or steps in the future that we can do to bring those into a more efficient form. Joseph Pina, what's going on? I'm glad to see you here. Dalek, it's good to see you. Connor Smith said, I'm cuddled up with a blanket and a Coke, and now I'm ready to chat with the homies. Well, we are getting into this chat. Connor Smith, have you ever heard of micronational organizations? Have you heard of alliances, things like that between micronations? Let us know, because I want to hear everyone's take on this. I know some people are for alliances, organizations. There's some people who are into wars, we've talked about that. But today, specifically alliances and organizations. Let me know what you guys think, because I don't mean to discredit people who are attempting that. It is a good thing to do. I think all micronations should engage with other micronations in that way. However, I want us to find a way as a community to be able to expand what that means, to be able to say, when you join an alliance, it's something that's helping your nation. It's something that is directly bringing you steps closer toward your goals, toward the ideal that you have. Connor, Invincible Admiral says, Arthuria is working toward economic initiatives, mainly small-scale agriculture. Congratulations, Invincible Admiral. I hope to hear more about that. Tell me what it is that is your economic initiative. If there are more than one, you said mainly small-scale agriculture. Do you think, are you okay, here's a good question. You're dealing in agriculture, right? Are you dealing in primarily a large, maximizing the amount of space you have, because it is small scale, to get the most amount of profit you can from one single crop? Or are you diversifying such that you have very small quantities of very many different crops? Because I could see benefits to both. I could see benefits to being able to sell one box of strawberries, one box of blueberries, and one box of grapes every month. But at the same time, I could also see benefit in selling just strawberries or just blueberries or just grapes, because I could have 4 or 5 boxes of just that one and sell more. And have a larger customer base potentially, which would allow me to expand. So I can see pros and cons to both, KTM Gaming says, back to get my annual micronational politics and economics. Thank you, KTM Gaming. That is what we are here for. I always want to talk about micronational economics and politics, because that is what it is in what I am into with it. Joseph Pina said, Invincible Admiral, greetings, Arthuria. Joseph Pina is trying to connect with Arthuria over here. Democratic Republic of Housestan said, I'm here. It's good to see you, Housestan. What's going on? Also, I'm going to play some music for us in the background. We got caught up in this conversation because I know you guys have heard of these micronational organizations. I know you guys have been a part of these alliances, and I just want to know, for people who have been a part of alliances, have they helped? What have they given you, and do you feel like you end up staying in any one very long? Because that's one of the memes, is yet another micronational organization, or YAMO, essentially just saying that these organizations don't last long because they're not fulfilling the needs of their constituents. All right. Joseph Pina said, ooh, Invincible Admiral says, Arthuria extends greetings to Aurora Gora. Colony of Steel and Iron said, well, I am Captain Rex. Oh, I didn't realize, Captain Rex. It's good to see you. How are you doing? Also, you're the colony of steel and iron. Who you a colony for? And if you make steel and iron, let me ask you a question. Are you forging with the fire like we've been doing? Because that is a question that's important to me. I've been trying out wondering, trying to get away from this thing that is not making money in spring. I'm gonna hit it like the winter and the fall and make it come rain like every single wall falling down. We're gonna make the money touch the ground and build it up. Hey. Alright. Alright, so we got a whole bunch of stuff, sorry. Gastonova said, real talk, what happened to Gary? I really debated whether or not to talk about this. I'll probably make a video about it now since you guys asked. I had two Garys, actually. In the span of things, I just got to do a whole series on the Garys. I don't have a ton of footage of them though, unfortunately. But I ended up with two Garys. So Gary was a rosy wolf snail, which is a carnivorous type of snail. Super cool if you guys go and check videos out of him. When I first got Gary, I didn't know how old he was, and they only live about a year in the wild. So I was worried that he would be dead before I could really get him introduced to the channel or anything like that. So I didn't want to make one video and then him pass and then that just be, it. I didn't want everybody to get attached. And, I had gotten attached. But it ended up being a thing where I had ended up with two Garys. I found one randomly outside my house, and then I found another one again randomly outside my house, though I had never seen those where I lived before. They're not a native species to where I live, so it's surprising to see them. They're actually an invasive species. But I kept them, and I figured, well, once I did kind of introduce Gary, but I didn't make a big deal about it, I guess. But I wanted to get to the point where I could farm the Garys, to the point where I could have them breed and then, grow a population of Garys and sell them to farmers and things like that who might want to use them in their gardens to get rid of crops, to get rid of pests on their crops, like snails and slugs. But the difficulty is they are an invasive species and they do eat a lot of stuff, so it's not good to do that. But also, they ended up becoming really cool and just becoming pets of mine. And I loved that. I had an appreciation for that. I grew attached to them. And I didn't know how else to find more Garys. It's interesting. Snails are hermaphroditic, so as long as you have two of them, they can mate. However, they didn't. I think a lot of it has to do with them being in captivity, but they didn't end up mating, and eventually one of the Garys passed away. When that happened, I was sad, and I ended up burying that Gary, and that was sad. And then, a couple months later go by, things are going good, and then the other Gary dies as well. I think from a broken heart, because they were like best friends and it was super cool. I'd like to talk more about that, but that was the big thing, is that I got attached to them and I didn't make a ton of videos with them. I loved them, they were both my pets, they were super cool, but I don't know. I feel like that was a part of my life that I just kept to me. And I definitely am glad that I did put them in the videos that I did, and I wish I would have put them in more. I think I only put one of the Garys in, the first Gary. And I should have done it more, but it was super fun. And those times are some of the coolest on the channel, so I definitely want to get back into making more like skit-like content and stuff, which is the ones that I put Gary in, but I want to bring that Gary spirit back, KTM Gaming says there are abandoned islands that you can fundraiser to buy out in international waters where you can make a legitimate claim. That's pretty cool. Where are they at? Can you show me them? give me a snag, dude. Or give me some money and tell me how much it would cost to be funny and buy the whole island and do everything like I'm legitimately trying to. Ooh. Yeah, so if y'all help us get to the money to buy an island, we'll buy an island. We'll go out there. You know what I mean? We'll start hit us up. Hit us up. Connor says, wow, Gastanova, only a week of knowing about micronations, and now AP is giving you praise. Proud. Yeah, Gastanova has been putting in a lot. It's like, I'm proud of Gastanova. He's been putting in a lot, and trying to help our micronation grow. You know, that's what's important to me. In order for me to want to work with you, and in order for Eternia to accept you, and to want to make an alliance or do anything like that, all we are asking for is a sincere partner. All we're asking for is somebody who's committed to, if you're going to be a citizen of ours, to our growth as an empire. That means now your empire as well, trying to get other people involved, trying to grow what we have the ability to do, and that includes through this platform. But as well, and that's one of the things Gastanova has been great about, is helping us with our microwiki as well as our website. In addition to that, if anybody wants to create an alliance with Eternia or things like that, all we're asking for is something from you guys that we can reasonably trade and need to trade. Sometimes it'll just be the fact that our two nations aren't meant to trade because we don't have things that are mutually beneficial for each other. And that's fine. We just have different things. It doesn't mean we can't respect each other. It doesn't mean one day we won't find things that connect a little better, and we'll know about each other. So we'll stay in contact and keep that going. But once we find a nation that happens with. We found that in Parkistopia, and it was just dumb luck that we found them so close. And local micronation, we ended up connecting with them and doing a little bit of trade with them for a while. They had traded, we had traded our plastic, or their plastic for our work, and so we ended up doing that and just visiting them, contacting them, keeping up with them. It seems like Parkistopia is on a little bit of a hiatus right now, but in the future, I hope to find other nations that we can partner with in order to export this metal that we're trying to. That's one of the biggest things. I saw a nation a while back on here had talked about potentially buying ingots from us, and we would love to do that. We're going to actually start putting out our first melting videos, hopefully today or tomorrow, not today or tomorrow, within the next few days. So look forward to that. But once we get that rolling, once we start making things in this furnace, once we start making this in this furnace, once we start being able to melt aluminum, copper, iron, we will get to the point where, it's an ad. Yep, because they're gonna play copyright music on my thing. Thanks YouTube's ads. So yeah, what I want to say is once we get to that point of economic security, once we can actually produce something that people are looking to buy and that we can start consistently making money from, that's when we can expand to do more. That's when we can hire people to join our empire, or to even to partner with us, to have different trade alliances with different micronations, and specifically contract to those micronations and say, hey, we may not have space or ability to do this specific type of project, but if you let us use your land or whatever, we'll compensate you for that. But regardless of how that develops, I want to stay connected with you guys, and I want us to figure out as a community how to make this work for all of us, because it's time to stop as micronations feeling frustrated that we can't grow and feeling like this is something that hasn't taken hold, that people haven't realized the potential for. So I would like to one day see professional micronationalists. I'd like to see, and there are some, but I'd like to see that be a very common thing. I'd like to see micronations becoming something that have tens of thousands of citizens that are permanent, born in that nation citizens. And I hope for my kids, you know, and the people that live on after me to be able to realize that. So um, we need to figure that out now, and I'm committed to helping this community figure that out. And I'm excited to hear what you guys think on that. Um, Connor Smith says, okay, Joseph Pina said, Invincible Admiral, we like to establish relations. Democratic Republic of Housestan says, as you know, I went neutral. It's good to hear that you went neutral. KTM Gaming says, some islands aren't for sale, but are just for the taking. Yeah, I guess, but you wouldn't, I don't know. I wouldn't invade islands, because if they're owned by someone, then, Connor Smith says, I know about them personally. I don't think a lot of them work. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Blue Marble, what's going on? It's good to see you. Sorry I didn't hit you up earlier. I didn't realize I'd gotten a comment from you there. What's going on? How you doing? Gastonova says, crazy. At Connor Smith, sorry. At Connor Smith says, bruh, is pretty crazy. Connor Smith says, Gastonova. Connor Smith says, yeah, it's pretty great. Connor Smith says, sorry if I'm formatting weird. First time watching a stream on my phone. Oh, well, I hope it's going well. Let me know how it's doing. Invincible Admiral says, likely diversifying into different types of crops. Okay, that's interesting. Which crops do you think you guys are going for? And how big is the space you have? Nexus says, Micronational organizations. I was invited by the League of Independent Nations by Alarentia. Eventually it splintered, and now I'm running the LIN as a coalition. It has done a lot of neat stuff. Oh, that's cool. Hit us up with what the LIN has done. And is that the League of Independent Nations? Yeah, okay. What have they done? Grand General Corona said, Ayo, what's going on, Grand General? Nexus says, I'm trying to get it back on track, however, so it's a long road to restoring its greatness. No, I definitely understand that. Let's see. Ooh. KTM Gaming said the Micronation jar has a Minecraft world, and we are building a foreign affairs building, and I was wondering if you were interested in starting relations with jar. I am interested in starting relations with jar, however, and this is important, I'm not buying Minecraft right now because I don't have $30, but otherwise I would. I still want to establish relations with them though, if we could just like make a video together or something. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna get on Minecraft because I don't have Minecraft. What's up, dude? Car. Car. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. I need to talk to my roommate about something. Alright, yes, I would like to establish relations with Jar. However, I don't have Minecraft. If there's another way that I can establish relations with them, I'd really like it though. I sent them an email a while back, and I don't think I've heard from them again. I heard from them once saying that they were interested, that Darren was interested, and then I didn't hear much back. Gastonova says, at Connor Smith, voice chat, boy. Grand General Corona says, whoa, congrats on 260, man. 660. Oh, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have been so excited for it. We are on our way to 700. That's what I'm trying to push for right now. We need to get to 700. We need to get to 700 so bad because once we hit 750, we are 3/4 of the way to 1,000. Once we hit 1,000, we're going to be making money on this channel regularly, which means we can put that into things like investments for the nation. We can put it into upgrades for the channel, things like that, making better content for you guys, and even putting that back into the community. So I'm excited to see what we can do with all of it. But you guys gotta help get us out there and get us to that 1,000. It all depends on you guys. KTM says that's a clip from The Office. I love it. Roy Mouse says, hello, I'm back. What's going on, Roy Mouse? How you doing? Hey, House Stan, it's good to see you. Invincible Admiral says, what's your opinion on micronational economic control? Which is better in a micronational case, private enterprise or state nationalization? I think it depends on how your nation is run. I think, and ultimately what the size of it is. I think a lot of micronations are under 10 people. If that is the case, I believe that like command economies are better planned economies, because you are essentially in that case like a small business. You know, you generally, if you have less than 10 people, are not running 10 very developed businesses. You're more than likely running one or two very small businesses that aren't producing that much. So you'd really want to combine all your efforts together. And if that's the case, you really want to go with sort of just a state control. You know, there's one person calling the shots, making sure that everything gets done, and people know where to find that direction from. Because if you have 10 people and they're all trying to get ahead on each other and they're all competing for the same interest group, it can be difficult. However, as you grow, I think your focus as well in selling a lot of the time should be externally to the micronational community rather than internally. However, I think once you get to, let's say you get to 50 or 100 citizens, actual citizens who are working for you and producing on your land, or somehow producing for you economically, and you are seeing as a nation benefit from them. Once you have 100 or more economically producing citizens, and they're gonna do this ad, once a group has like 100 economically producing citizens, they will eventually get to the point where they can sell to their own people. They don't have to just rely on external sources of income. They can, in fact, sell to their own people who are making money through exports and things like that, and in fact get an increase in capital and in taxes simply based on selling to your own people. At that point, private run enterprise is really important, because when you have a government trying to control how businesses compete with each other internally, that is an issue. And I think that's where a lot of economic stifling can come from. But as well, I think economies running into walls because there aren't many controls on them and there aren't many directions for them, especially when they're very, very small, I think is a bigger issue as well. That's why a lot of times in smaller countries you see that democracies in like third world countries get overturned a lot of the time and end up getting taken over by like military dictators and people like that, because such small economies, when there are many outside actors trying to affect that nation and there are so few citizens who also are trying to compete with that, it's hard to really get any control over where your money's going. However, once you are to the size of most European countries, things like that, once you're starting to get into a higher, even Asian countries, everywhere. That's not fair to say European countries. That's not cool. That's in fact kind of prejudice. That's horrible. But that's not what I suppose I originally intended. What I meant to say was that I think all nations, once they get to a certain technological standard, once they get to a certain economic standard, should be um, able to then expand into that, should be able to then take their um, locally owned businesses and feed into their economy. At that point, you don't want to stifle your own citizens from growth. At that point, you are saying, despite the fact that you have freedoms in this country, you are going to be told how you operate in your own country, the country you produce for, the country that you help to make sure exists. However, when you are dealing with your country's effect and economic stability on the outside world, that's where you want more control. So that's a great question, Invincible Admiral. I hope that answers it. Nicholas Randler says you should cover the Micronational Olympic Federation, which hosts physical online games throughout the year. All are welcome in the organization too. Oh, thank you. That's a great thing to cover. So, Nicholas Randler, that is probably one of the few cases of a really positive micronational organization, because you have a specific goal, you're all trying to go after it, and it's not something that really costs a lot, but it is something that you could potentially make money from if you chose to. Viddly Bop Bop says, hey, what's going on? Roy Mouse said, Gary the Snail. Yeah. No, that was actually why I named him Gary. He was super cool. He looked like Gary the Snail. Roy Mouse says, SpongeBob gonna get mad, bro? I know, it broke my heart. House of Stan said, I'm back. What's going on, House of Stan? How you doing? Roy Mouse says, hi, House of Stan. How are you? How's your nation? Invincible Admiral said, Josephina, relations would be appreciated if you are on the Eternia Discord. DM me and we can discuss. Sounds good. Connor Smith said, I miss Gary. I also miss Gary. Yeah, it's really sad. I miss both Garys. Roy Mouse says, nice, do you have parties yet? Democratic Republic of House of Stan said, I will establish them when the elections happen. Grand General of Asil says, hey, House of Stan, I'm here. What's going on, Asil? How are you doing? Everybody misses Gary. Gary was a real one. He was a symbol in Eternia, and he will always be missed. Democratic Republic of House of Stan says, who is Gary? You got to go back in the channel further to realize who Gary is. Gary is a pet snail that I had for a little bit right in the beginning of the channel. KTM Gaming said, everyone press F for respect for Gary family. Roy Mal says, I don't know, I think it's a snail. FF. Pet snails, that's Gary. Yep. Gary's a snail. F. Oh, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Roy Mouse says, I think I'm going to be a federal presidential democratic republic. Is that good? Well, if that's what you're interested in, absolutely. However, I do suggest that if you're a small group, that you do try to give as much power to a smaller control of that group. But that's here nor there. Do what makes you happy, first and foremost, and what you feel like is right. Nexus says, meow Gary. KTM Gaming says, those islands are mostly in the Pacific Ocean. Roy Mal says, Gary the Snail. Yee. Colony of Steel and Iron says, my friends and I as a nation kind of separated from this one micronation because it didn't really bring anything to the table, so we separated. Colony of Steel and Iron. Tell me what's going on. What didn't it really bring to the table, and what do you feel like you missed? Also, Rex, it's good to hear from you. I definitely hope you've been doing well. You were also a big help to the Empire. I appreciate it. KTM Gaming says, so you're not a colony? Roy Mal says, I guess I will declare the United Democratic Republics of Dandelion. KTM says, cool. Asil says, that sounds nice. Bjorn says, hey, I just made a micro country called Cherna. Do you recognize me as a country? I recognize you as a country if you recognize yourself as a country. Yeah. Also, Bjorn, I hope you're doing well. If you have not, definitely subscribe to the channel. It's good to see you, and tell us more about your micronation and what Cherna is all about. Democratic Republic of House of Stan says, in 2021, potentially. Roy Mouse says, but I'm really not into micronationalism anymore. Yes, I'm coming back in 2021. Oh, okay. I actually feel better without micronationalism. Interesting. Well, I hope you're enjoying life. Grand Duchy of Asile says, I recognize China as a country. That's awesome. Roy Mouse says, but I guess I will come back. Well, that depends. You should do what makes you happy, Roy Mouse. Sometimes a change of perspective can give you clarity in your life and can make you feel better about things. But ultimately, how we feel about a situation is a lot of the time more in our control than we realize. So try your best to be happy. But if you find yourself not happy in something, don't be afraid to walk away from it and to search for a better perspective. K-Team Gaming says, great, welcome back. But it is good to have you. We hope to be a supportive community for you. And whatever it is that you decide to do. Roy Mouse says, is Family Guy for kids? Not really, no. Invincible Admiral says, definitely not, no. Colony of Steel and Iron says, also, we have piece of land that we dig for tiny pieces of iron that we was and smelt. That's awesome. That's awesome. Have you found many pieces of iron yet? Also, do you melt just things that you find, like screws and stuff like that? Do you have much iron on your land? How is your land developed like that? Roy Mouse says, why does House of Stan watch it? KTM Gaming says, hard firm no. Roy Mouse says, LOL. Will Machine says, hello, I didn't miss you this time. It's good to see you, Will Machine. I'm glad to have you in the chat with us. Roy Mouse says, Family Guy cuss too much. You know it does. KTM said, are you still a colony? To Colony of Steel. Roy Mouse said, I watched The Simpsons. That is pretty cool, man. Get this. Family Guy is also cool, and so is everything else. Democratic Republic of House of Stan says, question mark. Roy Mouse says, some parts. KTM Gaming says, I was thinking Star Wars The Clone Wars. Roy Mouse says, House of Stan, when I come back, can I have a communist party, but not the only party. Democratic Republic of House of Stan says, I don't care. KTM says, I mean watch Star Wars The Clone Wars. Democratic Republic of House of Stan says, okay. Roy Mouse says, okay. Roy Mouse says, ooh. Coming back up. Hold on. Coming back up. Ooh. Hold on. Going back up. Ooh. Hold up. Ooh, we got Gastanova coming back in here. Ooh, we got a lot of people back in here. Hold up. Hold up. I gotta go all the way back to the top of the chat. Family Guy for Kid. Hello, I didn't miss you. There we go. We're getting there. Thinking Star Wars, The Clone Wars. House of Stan, when I come back and have a communist party. I'm a run for Communist Party. Will Machine says, kinda didn't hear it all. Oof. Kinds didn't hear it all. Oof. Grand Duchy of Asile says, I think political parties will ruin my nation. What's going on? And do you feel like you have the ability to stop those political parties? Blue Marble says, I finally got my internet problems fixed, my dude. Haven't been on Discord in some time, though. I get you. Well, you should definitely hop on. Also, I'm glad to hear that your internet problems got fixed. I hope everything's going all right, and I hope that your life is moving in a direction you're excited about. Roy Mouse says, Will Machine says, peace is the oath to liberty. Roy Mouse says, why? Communism didn't ruin my nation. It was because I tried to be like. Will Machine 42 says, the right to life is violated when you murder, therefore no murder/peace is liberty. Roy Mouse says, other countries. Ooh, hold up. Ooh, hold up. Ooh, hold up. Here's Gastanova. So on opinions. On those things like gum or whatever. Yeah, hit me up about opinions on things like gum or whatever. Yeah, because a lot of the time, those communities are good for letting new micronations meet other micronations and to contact each other and to talk about that. But other than that, they don't do a lot. They don't actually contribute to one's economy. They don't actually, in most cases, contribute to one's economy or develop another nation in great detail. They may assist with things as well, like creation of a website, like, developing contacts for that person, helping them set things up online, or helping them found their own alliances and things. But they don't provide that ultimate growth, that thing that we're looking for to give us more and more legitimacy. Roy Mouse says, Communist Party, I also made a language. Invincible Admiral says, space is around 8 feet long, 2 feet wide, not sure at time for crops, maybe tomatoes or cucumbers. Johnny Land, it's good to see you. Roy Mouse says, Democrat. House of Stan Wool Machine says, we were part of it, but left when a ton of instability happened. We decided if we had to let them meddle in our affairs, we couldn't do it. Also, thank you guys. We have 14 viewers, 11 likes. We have 13 viewers, 11 likes. I really appreciate y'all. Roy Mouse says, Kingdom of Johnny Land is. Wool Machine says, I'll be back. All right, I'll see you soon, Wool Machine. Invisible Admiral says, no copyright sounds for music. Roy Mouse says that. KTM Gaming says, run, run, run. Grand Duchy of Asile says, political parties are slowly ruining the U.S. in my opinion. They spread the people apart and put them against each other. Agreed. It's a real difficult issue. It really is. And I think that's why a lot of people have created micronations. On our Micronational map, I'll go ahead and pull it up for you. You can see there are, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out our site, again, hold up. We have alliances. We have the alliances tab. Okay. We're getting it in. We got a culture tab. I'm showing off the thing. The great amassing. This literally just is like a long list and description of what we have done as a nation and sort of the overall story of us as a nation. Again, thanks to Gastanova for that. I appreciate that. But so one of the cool things as well is we put the owl in. Gastanova put an owl in, which is our national animal. And we hadn't had an owl on our website, so definitely made it feel more homey for us and a little more connected. I appreciate y'all. But anyway, going to this Micronational map, as you can see, we have I think like 50 nations on here now, which I'm so proud of. We are becoming a real hotspot. We have almost 1,000 views. We may have over 1,000 views on this website so far, which to many websites that's not anything. But for the little time that we've been around, that's a lot for us, especially for a Micronational website. That feels huge to me, But yeah, so we're looking here. Most of the micronations are in the U.S. or in Canada, and I think a lot of that has to do with that feeling of instability and that feeling of dissatisfaction and of needing something else, needing something at least to feel like that represents you. If the country that you live in, the macronation that you live in doesn't provide that for you. And I think that's important, and I think that's important to express as the reason that you are a micronationalist and of why you think other people should be. Just saying we deserve the ability to choose what we want, and we deserve the ability to create our own path to our dreams, to what we want. Roy Mouse says, I also made a language. Invincible Admiral says, the space is around 8 feet long by 2 feet or 3 feet wide. Not too sure at the time for crops, maybe tomatoes or cucumbers. That's pretty cool. Congratulations. For crops, maybe tomatoes or cucumbers. Tomatoes and cucumbers do sell well, so that would be pretty cool. Roy Mouse says, to say House and Stand, it's. Kingdom of Johnny Land says, John is here. It's good to see you. That's what we were talking about. All right. Okay. Next it says, at the height of the LIN's power, we had, according to the previous leader of LIN, 50 member states, and we were doing awareness campaigns, interactive maps, coalition debates, and more. Roy Mouse said, yeah. Roy Mouse says, maybe the Democrats and Republicans need to unite. I don't know. I think the Democrats and Republicans need to unite, but I don't think they will. I think it kind of fights against their purpose and the way that they've built up this system so far. Nexus says, and yes, I agree, the bipartisanism is cancer. Roy Mouse says, into a one-party state. Nexus says, identity politics and groupthink divides. Agreed. And a one-party state is also dangerous. I do agree with that as well. I don't think a one-party state is the answer. I don't think um, that you should have just a one-party state, but I also don't think that it's complicated. Uh, Government of Andorese Republic says you should join the Cupertino Alliance. Who are you suggesting that to? Government of the Andorese Republic. Also, it's good to see you here. I'm glad you've joined our stream. We have 13 viewers, 13 likes. Thank you guys so much. We hit that exact balance, and I appreciate y'all. Roy Mouse says into a one-party state. Identity politics. Nexus says one-party state is dangerous. Roy Mouse says how. Nexus says I'd prefer a multi-party system. Nexus says where you could have more than two parties with something to offer. You know, one, the other, the other, the other. But we do have a multi-party system right now. The issue is that the other parties don't have nearly the traction that the Democratic and Republican parties have because they've been around for so long. The Democratic and Republican parties have been around since the time of Lincoln, and other parties have just consistently lost since then. Just hasn't been. There are tons of third parties in the U.S., but they don't ever get a presidential candidate that's in the final debate. I'd prefer a multi-party system where you could have something. Roy Mouse says, I'm bro Ben, y'all. Oh, it's good to see you. And Roy Mouse says, nah, I'd rather have a one party. Fair enough. KTM Gaming says, split the people between two political parties are destroying the United States unity-wise. Agreed. Roy Mouse says, in my country, yeah. Nexus says, yes. This red versus blue shit. Yeah, I agree. Roy Mouse says, so they should unite into a party and take bits of Republicanism and Democratic to make a good party all agree on. But nobody's ever going to agree on everything is the issue. KTM Gaming says, I started the Christian Party of JAR for the Micronation JAR. Nice, congratulations. Nexus says, I'm sending you the link to the LIN MicroWiki page to your DM. Okay, please do. Hey. Ooh, is that Leader DeSulk? Is that who Nexus is? Thank you. Thank you, Nexus. I appreciate you, or Leader DeSulk, whatever you prefer to be called. Let me hit y'all up back in the chat. Let me hit y'all up back in the chat. Back in the chat. Roy Mouse said communism. Roy Mouse said our country was communist before, and KTM said communism is bad, but there is a Communist Party of JAR and a Micronation of JAR. Fair enough, dude. He would let you guys be free to create what you wanted to. Trying to support each other, make a different route. Trying to grow around the station, try and make a different nation, try and get it all the way and try and make a congregation you could heal with. Alright. And we got, y'all love those ads. I love those ads too. That's my favorite ad. All ads are dumb, but that one is especially dumb. Alright. KTM Gaming says that's the normal for communist nations. Ooh, we got another free for profit by Pink. I just want to shout out Pink because he does production of these streams all the time. He has free for profit music and y'all should check it out. It's really cool and he is really kind about it. He's great. Or she, I should say. Don't hate. KTM says it creates a stagnant economy, lets dictators gain power, they oppress freedom, persecute all religions and famines. That's why communism is bad. Vanessa Brooks says, hi. What's going on, Vanessa Brooks? It's good to see you in our chat. I haven't seen you in a minute. KTM Gaming says, Grand Duchy of Asil says, hello. KTM Gaming says, BRB. Roy Mouse Channel says, do so. I want to be a dictatorship. You should be a dictatorship. Then that is fine if that's what you want to do. We're a monarchy. That's cool, dude. It ain't a big deal. It ain't a three-wheel. You can do whatever you want. Lozboy says, yes, the MOF. Famous for me winning Bronson Poker. Nice, that's cool as heck. Ooh. Roy Mouse says, so I can make everything democratic if you want. Lozboy said, what? I know, right? Kingdom of Johnny Land says, how's it a democratic if it's a dictatorship? You can make it. Country of China, well, there are a ton of dictatorships that claim they're democratic. Country of China says, hey guys, hey, you made it. You should subscribe with your Country of China account. That way we get closer and closer to 1,000. I appreciate you. Grand Duchy of Asile says, being a dictatorship sounds fun, but I'll remain a constitutional monarchy. Fair enough. Constitutional monarchies are also respectable. Gives that checks and balances. Roy Mouse says, I need to grab onto power because I could establish a democratic dictatorship. Give it a shot. Lowe's Boy says, how's it a dictatorship if you spelled it wrong and couldn't dictate it properly? That's hilarious. That's a meme. Lowe's Boy, you get the meme award for today. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to flip it around, dip it around, show it all, anywhere you can get it. And there you go. You have received the meme award. There you go, Lowe's Boy. And for a one-time only offer, you can also get this bag. All right. It's a very small bag. Why is this bag so small? What is this for? This is the smallest bag I've ever seen. Anyway, Kingdom of Johnny Lynn said, bruh, because if I have all power, I could establish a democracy. Roy Mouse says, what? An elective dictatorship. Lowe's Boy says, a micronation that will die in a week. Roy Mouse says, you can vote for the dictator. Okay, fine, but on my nations, I don't want so much democracy. Nexus says, LOL, Knive. I think he meant nice, but yeah, we're going to check out the League of Independent Micronations here in a second. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat. We got a ton of chat. All right, I'm just jumping down in the chat. If I miss somebody, Vishwa, what's going on, dude? It's good to see you. Lowe's Boy says, I think I am a Green Ranger, greenest, etc. Even the cause of creating a nation is nature. It's good to see you. How is your nation going, Vishwa? I think you had been in either the last stream or the stream before that. But it's good to see you, and I'm wondering how your nation's going. Also, if you're not on our Micronational map and you have a nation, you should hit it up because we got like 50 nations. We got a whole bunch of people viewing it. Essentially, it's where nations can connect to each other. Johnnyland and whatchamacallit are right next to each other. Johnnyland and Bogdan are like right next to each other, you know. So it's helped people to make alliances and forge connections. It does. It gives you little groupings and little sections so that you can start to find people who are near to you. And one of the things that you start to realize as well as we get closer and closer to this, there starts to become a network here. There starts to become a pattern where it's not that far from one to the other. So if you could make it to one, you could eventually get something to wherever you needed, or you could eventually develop, whatever you needed. And that's exciting for sure. As well, we have the same thing going on in the UK. We have the same thing going on in Spain. I am getting a call, guys, but excuse me one second. Sorry about that, guys. So League of Independent Nations is an association of micronations that was started as a result of the August Uprising. It primarily aimed to enforce the independence of individuality discourse of all member micronations. That's the station that we're trying to make a way for them. We're trying to get a pay for, because it aims to become the one micronational standard any other could get to the side and lantern. Hold the light for the rest of us. Ooh. Getting messages. Work was good, kids are funny. Okay, so we got scopes. One of the purposes of the League is to organize territorial claims so to avoid overlaps and therefore conflicts. All member nations are required to respect one another's territories. Any such member nation may claim its independent territories. All other member nations are bound to respect these claims. Another goal of the League is to enforce an environment where all nations recognize one another's sovereignty and independence. By becoming signatory to the Ardennes Convention, a new nation automatically gains the recognition of all other nations. For a more modern era, and so to apply to the rest of the world, the Montevideo Convention was intended for the American continent. The League also provides virtual areas where all nations may establish diplomatic relations with one another, regardless of physical limitations. Similarly, the nations gain opportunity to participate in events such as the Micronational Olympic Games, not affiliated with the Olympic Games, and to an event to participate in the Council for Micronational Freedom Enforcement. Awesome. Additionally, all member nations gain the ability to use and exchange RON coins for the purpose of intermicronational trade. See, that gets me though. When you're like, everyone should conform to one monetary system. I agree if it is for one nation, but it seems like essentially what you're doing is creating one large micronation. For the purposes of intermicronational trade, the coin does not replace the nation's currency, it only acts as a standard to exchange with other nations. But it's not replacing your currency, but it's replacing it externally, you know what I mean? However, RON coins may serve as a virtual currency for the nations that have none. See, so it's like, yeah, it kind of does become your currency. A marketplace that's available for the purpose of trade. They're just saying it doesn't have to be your only currency, but it is a currency that you use. Finally, nations may request their own dedicated subforms on the League. This may help increase their exposure. Let me ask you this. How many RON coins have been sold? And also, have they really been sold or just given? Are RON coins, it's RON, but it's with a Y. RON coins, are they given just freely to micronations? Hey, you get 100 to start out with. Or do they have to purchase them? And if they purchase them, how much do they cost? Who gets the benefit of the purchase? How many have you sold so far? Finally, nations may request their own dedicated subforms to the League. This may help increase their exposure and facilitate citizen growth. Whole bunch of things. I'm going to jump back in the comments here. All right. Ooh, a whole bunch of stuff. Kingdom of Johnnyland said Bogdan and I are going to do a trade. Congratulations. Y'all should. Right, because we're right next to each other. Absolutely. Y'all should. That's exciting. Royal says they just can't say that that in public. Loseboy says, look up Deer and Other Species Citizenship Act. I'm pretty sure the MW page will come up at Vishwa Mohan. Hold up. Yes, I am trying. Yes, you are trying what, Vishwa? Roy Mal says they just can't say that that in public. Kingdom of Johnnyland, Will Machine says, okay, can Muslims and pagans practice in public? I know Muslims may not be the Christian Bibles where pagans are. I would like to be part of the map. Oh, absolutely. If you want to be a part of the map, all you got to do, Tudaleth, is join our Discord here. I'll actually post a link for you. Now I have the way to post links without them getting expiring. So this is the link to our Discord. If you will personally DM me some information about your nation as well as its flag, a picture of its flag, and your GPS coordinates, I can get that back to you, and I can put you on the map. Okay. So we got a whole bunch of stuff. Vishwa says, I love nature. Please don't do things what we have done in previous nations. Do good. I appreciate that, Vishwa. I'm trying. There are some things that I have been doing that are, as of this moment, harmful to the environment. Like, I've been burning wood to make charcoal, such that I can melt down aluminum. However, I am hoping to eventually automate the process and make it something that is more eco-friendly. So I'm trying to move in that direction as well, but I'm hoping to make money for our nation so that we can grow and develop into a more economically prosperous nation, and hopefully one that can work harder toward those environmental standards as well. But yeah, I agree with you, Vishwa. Roy Mouse says, it's my nation. Wool Machine says, but your nation, you favor Christians and Jews. Make it illegal to speak against them. It sounds like a theocracy. Fair enough. Roy Mouse says, if I don't like something, I won't say it's true. Kingdom of Johnnyland says, in Johnnyland we have freedom of speech, but if someone was going to protest, we're more likely not going to do it because we have a French culture and I do a lot of French political and social tricks. Political and social tricks. What do you mean? Roy Mouse says so. Will Machine says what? That's not how opinions work. Roy Mouse says protests are allowed. Bro. He said protests are allowed. Bro. Wait. Bro. He said bro. Nexus said, after the LIN conflict, there is now the Libertas Convention, which seeks to strengthen the LIN. What's the LIN conflict? FISS conflict. After dissolving the league in late February. Oh, so it was dissolved? Hold up. Why was it dissolved? Oh, notable developments. Created to enforce the individuality and independence of its members, has been involved in a conflict with the Promatia project. At the end of 2019, Promatia requested to become a member of the League. However, months later, it was found that Promatia was organizing a coup with a non-member nation in an attempt to merge that nation into theirs. Concerned, several nations of the League formally formed a temporary committee to investigate, as Promatia's behavior was detrimental to the values enforced in the League. Promatia reacted by leaving the League, after which Promatia proceeded to leave Micronationalism, only to return a few months later, to resume their attempts of merging other nations into theirs. Consequently, the League of Promatia project became vehement opponents and the two main forces in the Micronational community. At the start of the decade, the nations of the League agreed that they would not be seeking recognition from the United Nations. It was found that the UN was the author of several controversial policies that conflicted with the freedoms values of the majority of the League's members. Instead, they have agreed that the League itself would become a new platform for emerging nations across the world. The League does not have the advantage that, unlike the UN, none of its member nations are at war with one another, instead of which its members are actually supporting one another and growing stronger, despite being completely independent. January 2020, Laurentia and the Kingdom of Stratton extended an invitation to the Republic of China, commonly known as Taiwan, to join the League. The Republic of China has been kicked out of the United Nations, who's favored People's Republic of China. The League of Independent Nations proposed that the Republic of China become an eminent member of the League instead. Taiwan replied that it would keep the proposal under consideration. Oh, that's cool. That's actually awesome. Having established contact with Taiwan has been a great honor for the overwhelming majority of nations of the League. After the dissolving of the League in late February, the League was divided into two factions. After posts regarding the activities of the Nexan Republic's military projects were unveiled in the R Micronation subreddit, causing an argument with the Laurentian nation that caused its dissolving. The League and its chairman saw that as a violation of the Arundel Convention, bringing Laurentia's leader, Tiananmen longed to dissolve his nation and the League altogether. Mass chaos soon ensued, and the majority of League became divided into two camps: the newly revived League of Independent Nations, led by Deslok V, I guess that's you, Nafridge of the Nexan Republic, yeah, that's you, and the Forum of Innovative States, of which Quebec, formerly known as Laurentia, became an eminent member. Over the course of the next few weeks, condemnations and infighting between the two factions lasted until March 6th, where the new League and FFIS, both in the interests for the benefit of the micronational communities, stopped hostilities against either side. Tiananmen apologized, retracting his condemnations of the Nexan-run League, and in short, the rest of the FFIS appeared to follow suit. The LIN responded in kind with gratitude of their sincere apology. The Republican has developed a program to raise awareness on dyspraxia, therefore to reduce discrimination and ignorance of the developmental coordination disorder. That's cool. Congratulations, guys. It sounds like y'all are doing a lot, and I'm proud of you, but I gotta get off soon. Yeah, so I hope you have a good night. Yeah. Let me check you out real quick before I leave. Please go trees. I am sorry. Please, please make another way. I am trying. And I will make it better. Because what I'd like to do is to make it electric. And that's what I'm going to do eventually for you. So it can be much more friendly to the earth and to everyone that grew up here together. We're going to grow trees, make some better weather. And you'll be alright. We'll get it done soon, just not tonight. Alright. Will Machine says, but you're just a leader, your nation shouldn't be an exact copy of your beliefs. Agreed. Lowe's Boy said, well, depends. Lowe's Boy says, Vishwa Mohan, do you have a Discord? Nexus says, yes, as not all citizens will have the same religious views. Roy Mouse says, yes, it should. Nexus says, one group will feel left out and the fighting happens. Ooh, hold up. I'm personally secular, so I believe in Vishwa Mohan. Lowe's Boy says, Vishwa, do you have a Discord? Vishwa says, no, it's an request. Will Machine says, that's an example. Your nation should be vaguely influenced by you, however, it shouldn't be an exact copy. Fair enough. I agree with that. Roy Mouse says, I will keep it the way it is. Republic of Two to left.
Download the app today and get a trial of Music Premium on us. Restrictions apply.
Nexus says, the LIN was dissolved because Laurentia tried to censor me. Other member nations critiqued the leader who then went without any chairman's word, dissolved the YAMO without consent. Well, good luck with that, I suppose. But has that helped anybody economically yet? Also, how many coins have you guys sold? Country of Churna says, I sent you a message on my Discord under the name Open Mystic. I sure will. You should, so that you can help set up your Micronation's information on our map. As well, like I said, if you haven't subscribed, you definitely should, because we're trying to march toward that 1,000, and once we get to 700, we are close. We are so close, and I am so proud of you guys for how much you've done for this channel. We are moving on the way, and I'm so excited. Lowe's Boy said, Vishwa Mohan, use the actual characters, not words. Roy Mouse says, we are free and proud. Will Machine says, yeah, but I'm pointing out the issues you've got now. If you made it worse, I'd still be pointing the issues out. Roy Mouse says, I just told you people can practice their religion. Republic of Tuda said, you're not free. Will Machine said, free? Roy Mouse says, how? Will Machine says, no, you said only Christians and Jews can practice in public. Roy Mouse says, we just have different customs. Lowe's Boy said, Vishwa Mohan, Discord. Ooh, hold up. Discord is most people's way of communicating, and during the COVID crisis, we're discouraging people. COVID crisis, the one to me, is the one time discouraging people from going outside. Grand Duchy of Asile said, I'll let you keep your customs. Nice. Watch this, I'm about to scare the alt-right. At Roy Mouse, channel LGBT. What's the second Q? 2A+. I don't fully understand what y'all are talking about, but I appreciate that y'all are jumping in with me. We don't care about what they identify as. Ooh, y'all shooting them up. That's crazy. Roy Mouse says, it's also mandatory to join the army. I can't believe that personally. How is it mandatory to join the army? Will Machine said, oof. Everybody get the clap in, and everybody bring a roof, and they get the drop. Like you. Hope y'all are doing well tonight. Roy Mouse said, bro, I'm bro bin. I got you, Will Machine. You're funny. You funny, Will Machine. You so funny. Alright, we got Pink out here with a free-for-profit beat, Missing You. Y'all should definitely check out them. Gastanova said, "What, bruh? When did this get political? We just trying to vibe with Pink. Of course, that's what we trying to do, Gastanova. You know what we're talking about. I appreciate you hanging out with us. You gotta serve. What? Why? To make strong military. Okay, whatever. Y'all are talking about politics stuff. Gastanova, hit me with this. How do you think I can better help you connect with our nation? Because that's what I want to try and do. Let me know what we can do to do more. I really appreciate your ideas, and that's what I'm trying to do. I hope to eventually get enough people in the micronation to start putting people in leadership positions. But I don't have enough work for us to do effectively to get that started. So if you have any ideas, if you have anything you want to float to me, definitely do. And if you have anyone else that you feel like would be a good fit for Eternia, definitely come along with us. For all you experienced micronationalists out there, for all you newcomer micronationalists out there, just like Gastanova, come and join the Empire of Eternia. See what it's all about. We're trying to figure out how to get more things that people can do, but right now that's what we're hoping for is getting to the point where we can make money and we can spread our message efficiently. Roy Mouse says, ooh, that's a breach of the right. Rose Boy says, once we had a military with airsoft guns, it was cringe. But yeah. Got 12 viewers. Gasanova said, aight. Grand Duchy of Asil said, that's odd, I like it. Rose Boy says, we use real guns. Roy Mouse says, oh. Blue Marble says, imagine not having guns. Imagine what we could do. What if we just imagine? What if we just sit back, relax, and imagine that we made a civilization that we combined of multiple different micronations? Not a micronational organization, but if micronations, smaller micronations that, want to find something larger to grasp onto, what if they joined micronations? What if micronations supported other micronations and created larger groups to do effective work? That's what I'm proposing, and that's what I hope we can get to. Nexus says we make our own guns. Roy Mouse says I will get on my radio and y'all. That's funny. Grand Duchy of Asil says, oh God, I have no army. That's all right. That's all right. I don't got an army either, but they can't do nothing. That's okay. Grand Duchy, you're good. They don't do nothing. And my lab. Will Machine says, lab? Yeah, of course. He's gonna send his whole laboratory at you, dude. Don't you know? Lowe's Boy says, channel, then how are you able to actually protect your nation in a real situation, not a planned non-lethal battle? Yeah, he does what the Roddy does. LOL, sorry. Will Machine says, I'm part Maltese. Roy Mouse says, yes, he can. Interesting. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. I think I am probably going to head to bed, but we will be doing more in the future. Let me show you guys one thing before we log off. I have been making a lot more charcoal. We are up to here. We were down here. We were just scraping the bottom of the bag with some of it. Now we have quite a bit of actual charcoal that we've just made. And what I'm really excited about is we should eventually be able to take this charcoal. I'm going to fill all the way to the top of this bag, and then we will have a large amount of charcoal to use once we start melting our aluminum. So that'll be great. What are you confused about, Roy Mouse? Or Will Machine, what you gonna do to me, you? Blue Marble say he's gonna send his whole laboratory. Not gonna lie, that make me chuckle. I appreciate it. Will Machine says, alrighty, have a great one, man. Good luck on your charcoal. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Roy Mouse says, I'm gonna make the constitution of my micronation. Gastanova says industry is absolutely booming. You know we are. We're going up, man. We're trying to get it. Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing, Gastanova. I want to be able to find a way that we can take stuff like this and really pass it on to our citizens. I know that not everybody can do stuff like this. I know that you can't do it at your own house and stuff like that potentially. That is perfectly fine. I don't want to make people have to do complex technical work to be able to get into micronationalism. But I wish there was an easier way for us to connect that chain, to be able to take what this is and eventually get something that is improved by your all work, even if it's not face to face, even if it's not in person. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good night, and I appreciate it. I will see you very, very soon. Keep me updated, and let me know how y'all are doing. Blue Marble says, I need to watching more streams and getting into micronationalism. You should. Blue Marble, if you are into micronationalism but you don't have a micronation, you should join our micronation. I will hit you up, check out our videos, get in touch with our ideas, see what's going on, and let me know. Let me know in Discord. I will get in touch with you for sure. Grand Duchy of Asile says, I should start my own industry. Sometime I'll sell flags. Blue Marble says, I just can't stand Discord, TBH. But that's the thing. So in our Discord, we have the general Discord, but if you become a citizen of the Empire, what you're able to do is to join a specific tier that allows you to be in a specific chat that we have, which is the Hall of the Empire. And the Hall of the Empire is a special chat for citizens only that allows us to talk, them to talk directly to the Emperor and me to talk directly to them. It's essentially like an imperial court where we discuss important things, we plan, we strategize, and we develop our culture. So if you want that, you'd be in a more exclusive group that would be smaller and we could actually get work done. And that would be the point of it. So if you're interested in that, definitely join up. Ooh, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Roy Mouse says, AP, can you make it earlier? Like, can you make your videos during the day Eastern time? I would like to. The problem is a lot of time during the day Eastern time I'm working. I'm developing some stuff personally. I have bills to pay and things to do, but when I can, I definitely will. I'm going to try my best. And if you can't watch a stream sometimes, definitely go and check out our old videos and stuff, because that's something we've done a lot of. That'll tell you a ton about micronationalism. Vishwa says it's 12 for you. Is it 12 for you? It's 9 in India. It is not 12 for me. Right now it is actually 10:22. We are in Central Time, so it's quite a few hours. Not that far away from you guys actually, but that's pretty cool. Other than that, Blue Marble says, well, I didn't know about the secret Eternian Club, LOL. How would I join again? Because I've been putting off making one for a bit. Message me on Discord. Message me personally on Discord. I will get in touch with you, and that's really all you'll have to do. Message me on Discord. We'll talk about it, and we will see how to get you into citizenship. Nexus says, LOL, nice. The Nexian Republic Discord has so many different areas and secretive levels. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear about that. Same thing for us, you know. We really want to make it an engaging and exciting experience for our citizens and our, visiting micronational leaders, things like that. But we have different things for different people. You know, citizens want to be more engaged with the citizenry, with the micronation itself, whereas a lot of micronational leaders want to share more about their micronation, connect with others for trade. So we have places for micronational leaders to talk and places for our citizens to talk. And we have the general chat for people to mingle, of course. Hold up. Nexus says, nice. Nexian Republic Discord has so many different areas and secret levels. Visual, let me ask you a question. Well, first off, have a good night. Y'all have a good night. Vishwa, next time, what is your, are there micronations in India? Are there a lot of them? Are there a few? How'd you find this channel? I hope you have a good night. See you guys. Good night.